Hey, y'all, it's me, your host, Coach Pilar Arthur Sneed. Thanks so much for joining me here for another episode of the Last 10th podcast. I am so excited, and I know that I say that every single week, but really every single week, I really do get so excited to have folks on the show. And today is absolutely 100% no different. I am so excited to welcome Deo Kato to the show. He is, dare I say, really like multi-talented runner, ultra runner, member of Black Trail Runners in the UK. Let's see. He just completed a 381-day streak in protest. So, I mean, to say that I am humbled and honored to have Deo on the show would really be an understatement. Deo, welcome to the show. Welcome.
It's great. It's great to have me.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to actually be here with you and have this conversation with you. Thank you for that amazing introduction.
You are welcome. You are welcome. So, Deo, where I usually like to start is I really love it when guests just tell me a little bit about themselves. So I gave like this much of the person that you are. Tell me more.
The introduction was amazing, to be honest. Basically, I'm an endurance athlete, but my main discipline is trail running and ultra running. So I enjoy that. I love the pain. So that's what I go out
painful.
For.
I learned.
Yeah. So I do a lot of distances that go beyond 26.2 miles. And I'm also, basically, I just kind of completed one of the, quite a long challenge of running 381 days. And I've been running 10 kilometers, which is 6.5 miles every single day. Just as a form of protesting, because of what's been happening over the last year and even going on right now, especially with the deaths of George Floyd, as it happened last year. So I went out and set out to do a protest run to raise awareness.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I'm streaking myself right now. So I know, but I'm not doing 10K a day. I had a little brief moment where I thought, oh, maybe 10K a day might be something that I could do. And my body just says no. So that you were able to run 10K a day for 381 days is pretty amazing. Was the added extra benefit is not the word I'm looking for, but the added layer of knowing that you were doing it for a purpose, was that something that you were able to focus on to help you to keep going every day?
Absolutely. That it was the driving force behind it. Like most people, I would say I had no idea that I could be able to do 10K every single day for that long. And it's just knowing, and when you get into that mentality of like, this is what I have to do, but I'm not just doing it for myself. I'm doing it for so many people out there. I'm doing it for the justice. That's what it's about. You just go out and go again.
And you get it done. You get it done. You get it done. Did you do anything in particular during this 381-day period, besides running, where you would let people know what you were doing and why you were doing it?
Yes, I'm quite active on social media, which is great. I had to learn to be active on social media. I didn't like it before.
I understand. I get it.
I always try to stay away from it. But over the course, I became more and more involved on social media and just raising the awareness, putting my voice out there. And and when I was going out for runs, I would go out with posters, I'm saying, with a little poster that shows like I'm running for justice, running for peace and equality. And I carry it in my hand, I'm just waving it up there. I'm running past cars, everybody, people beeping at me, but it's that was the form I was using at the time. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that makes me think, right? So I had this experience back in 2017 when I was training for my first marathon. I was running, it was it's my first time running. I had like just made it up this hill, and I was just kind of like in thought, like, yes, I just ran that hill. Like I didn't stop. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited I did this.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just, and this is all happening sort of inside my mind, that I'm having this, internal yay, but I'm walking kind of slow and I just got up the hill. And so, taking a little breather. And then I hear someone yell at me, run faster,
Oh,
N-word.
whoa.
And that was a jolt right out of my moment of joy. And it was an utterly terrifying experience for me to have that happen. And
Yeah,
this is something, right, where you'll get where I'm going with this in a second. Right? So like, I'm literally just running. This is my face. This is my skin tone. This is just who I am. And someone is yelling at me simply because of that, and yelling this expletive at me. The extra added piece of running and carrying a sign that says I'm running for justice as a Black man and running in a predominantly white country. Yes. Like, I can't even, like, that terrifies me, that I would be so afraid. Were you afraid in any point for your safety?
At the beginning, yes. At the beginning, I was. And it's just funny that because right at the beginning, I was running in a place where I would say I was a handful of Black people. I rarely saw another Black person where I was living at the time when I started. But the great thing, the local community there were quite supportive. They were welcoming. This was in Northern Ireland where we started the whole protest. They're very supportive, and I didn't experience any of that. But being out there running with the sign as a Black person, and you're going for quite a long distance, it is a bit, a bit scary. It's a bit worrying, you're not sure how things are going to turn out, who's going to be, who's going to go out and shout out something, shout out a slur.
Or even more than that.
Or even more, yeah.
Even more. Yeah.
But I just had to do it. I don't know. I just felt like if I'm going to protest, I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to go out there, whatever somebody says, whatever they do, I'm going to go out there and do it. And they'll see me again tomorrow, even if they do things.
That's right. That's right. I'll be back. I'll be back again tomorrow. And no matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm doing this.
Yeah, you can't break me.
That's amazing. That is amazing, and literally makes me just want to be like, yes.
Yes. That's it.
People who are listening are not going to be able to see me doing this, but that's what that makes me feel like. Yes.
We have to continuously go out there and continuously say, we're going to do this no matter what you say. Eventually, they're going to get tired. It's not me that's going to get tired. It's them that's going to get tired. Right. So, I mean, how many words can you come up with in 381 days? That are very different. You tell me.
You're just gonna keep recycling them. Just keep recycling them. That's, I mean, what else do you have? Indeed. That's awesome. So that makes me that leads me to my next question, but just in terms of like the power of positive thinking. I feel that at least in America, I cannot speak to your experiences being in the UK. But it can be a little bit of a challenge to be a brown person walking around. Sometimes, just like every day you're kind of assaulted. Maybe not overtly assaulted, just being in this body. But the fact that you were able to overcome the fear of what might happen and still go forward and say, every day I'll be here. If you can talk about some of those benefits in overcoming all of that, I call it head trash, really. Yeah.
So the power of positive thinking, as I like to call, I like to think it's not to think negative in any situation you're in. Even if you're in the worst circumstances you find yourself in, there's always an opportunity, even if it's that small.
Yes.
You just have to find that and reach for it, literally like go for it and say, this is my lifeline. I'm going to find a way out of this. Because if you think negative, you're going to take the other side, and your mind is going to be clouded, and anything that comes up at you, you're always going to be thinking that same way, and you're never going to climb out of that headspace or that way of thinking. So the only way you can come out of that is by thinking positively. Growing up in the UK, I've experienced racial abuse from a very young age when I first came to the UK. And coming to the UK is quite difficult for most people. Coming to the UK as a child is even more difficult, because you're only trying to grow up, but you're trying to navigate the surroundings.
Yes.
You lift your friendships all the way back where you was from, where you grew up, or where you were coming from. You come to a new place and you have to learn, the environment, have to get new friends, the language, all of these things are thrown at you at once. And it's like, there you go. Now, learn it. Boom.
Here you are. You are dropped in, literally dropped in.
Literally dropped in. And you have to, stay on your feet somehow. But then there's this added racism that's added on top. And out of all that, and somebody drops racism on top of you, and you're like, this is the first time you ever actually experienced it. You never knew what racism was. And then you have to find, first of all, you're learning what is racism.
Right. You're like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Your problem is what? I don't get it. my mind is completely boggled. Yes.
Yeah. You go back to your parents and you're saying, like, somebody said this to me. What does it mean? And then they have to sit down and explain what it means. And and you can see the whole process. They don't want to go into that, go start talking about this, but they have to. And then the other thing is that most parents don't want their kids or children to be learning, bad language.
Yes.
But somebody's already thrown the bad language at you.
That's right.
So
that's right. That's right.
There's no way of getting around it. So you just have to start learning in a different way. It's difficult already. I started to feel quite negative from the onset towards, how people were treating me and how people were treating my family and my culture and people where, my color, my skin color. I'd start to learn about all these other things that are going on. I learned about Stephen Lawrence, He's I'm not sure if many Americans know about Stephen Lawrence, but he was a young man that was murdered by a group of white people back in 1993. Learned about that, and it just brought me down. It really brought me down and brought me down to my knees. And the one thing I do remember that's vivid in my mind is that I was crying to my mom in her hands, and I was like, "Mom, why don't they want us here? When they come to our country, we embrace them, we welcome them, we give them gifts. How comes they don't do that to us? Like they're actually telling us to go back to the country."
Right.
So that, that whole experience kind of like shuts into you, it makes you think differently, it makes you question so many things. So what I was going to mom, I told her, "Look, can you just take us back home? Let's go back. I don't want to be here. This isn't what I envisioned. This is not what I thought it was going to be like." And I think I was actually living up to what they were saying. They're telling you to go back home. So I was like, actually, in fact, my home is a lot better. I grew up, I was born in Uganda, and I was like, actually, Uganda is a lot better. Why am I here?
That's right. Like,
better experience.
What did bring your family to move to the UK? Work or?
Yeah, exactly that. It's that pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of a better life. It's what we sold to us by the Western world. So when you're in Africa, you don't have anything good. You can only get it when you're in the Western world. So they came over here to chase that dream. And while chasing the dream, my mom left us back in Uganda. So after she earned enough money, she brought us to live with her.
Right.
So that's when you're like, I know, I'm like, Uganda actually is a lot better. I get sun all year round.
That's
and
right.
I get to be in the outdoors all the time.
That's right.
And I'm here like stuck in the house.
Yes.
It's raining all the time.
Yes.
And people are being abusive to you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so when did, because I totally can identify with what you're saying. I think that Black people all over the world who either have already lived in a predominantly white environment, or if you come into a predominantly white environment from a place that is predominantly Black or people of color, you have, and I remember from my own experience having this experience where it was like, oh, I'm not like those people. I'm not like them, and they're not like me. Oh, but like, we are the same, but we're not. Like, they're treating me differently because they think that I'm not the same. I guess let me phrase it like that. So I remember having that experience of like realizing, oh, snap, I'm Black.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't
like
know that
I
before.
didn't know that before. I had no idea. And now for me, it has taken me my entire life until now, going into my 50th year, to really own my Blackness and say that my Blackness is something that I can be proud of, and that I am all about that, right? And this shift in being like, I'm not going to let the world tell me that because I'm Black, I'm not good enough, and I'm not worthy of all the things that the world has. But it seems like at some point in time in your youth, you had a shift where you just said, forget that. When did that happen for you?
It happened a bit later into life, in my 20s. And this is after many years of like taking on negative energy all the time. You try to climb out and then like you're getting pulled back in. It happened when, which is a crazy time I was going through, because I developed some kind of condition which has never been diagnosed, and I don't know, to this day I don't even know what it is. But the condition led me to go to doctors like for over 4 years, going back and forth. It's related to what's called homeostasis. And homeostasis is the regulation of how your body,
yes,
you know, regulates itself, and it just kind of like gives sense of signals. You this to get this. What happens is that my body overheats, like the heat. It doesn't like most people sweat. It doesn't sweat naturally like you would do, or the heat gets trapped in and it doesn't want to come out. So which means that my body heats up, and then it goes to like almost dangerous levels of like,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I would go to doctors and spend so many time, like every single week, and try to figure out what's going on.
Yes.
And the crazy thing is, whenever I go to the doctor, it doesn't happen. it was just like, I just
we've all been there.
Exactly.
Doc, my elbow hurts. Does it hurt now? No, it doesn't hurt now. No. It feels fine now.
Yeah.
Well, I can't help you.
I can't help you. Yeah. And it's so crazy. It's like I would go, and then I would be like, I couldn't be in any warm or hot environment. So what you guys have there, or what I have right now, of how hot it is, there's no way I would be able to survive in it. Or I would have been able to survive in it at that time. So the temperature I was able to deal with at the time was maximum 20 degrees, which is, I think, probably like
gosh, I'm thinking. I just was looking at
Fahrenheit.
I was just looking at Celsius. I was just looking at Celsius. It's like 18 degrees. 0 degrees is -18 Celsius. So you have to kind of go up from there. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's
always confusing when it comes to the UK and American. Yeah. So probably around 18 degrees, Fahrenheit. So it's quite, that was bearable for me, but everybody around me was cold. And I was just loving that weather. That's the time I could be happy.
Yes.
The time I could be able to like go outside and enjoy myself. Yes. And I used to love winter only because of I can be outside. I can actually be able to sit outside and be like, this is nice.
Right.
But when it comes to, those 85 degrees where you have there and 90 and goes up to 100 and something, I would die.
You'd just be like, no.
I would have died at that point.
I can't deal.
Yeah. I couldn't deal with that.
Yes. Yes.
And what happened is that after years and years of going to the doctor, they they send me over to like dermatologists, they send me over to these and checking me over. And one day I said to the doctor, look, I've been coming to you for 4 years. I've spent my summertime in the house because I can't go outside. The only time I can go out is to go to study and go to work. And that's it. And that's very difficult for me to do that. It's like I was like, look, man, can you give me something to give to my school and give to my employer to let them know what is happening? Just give them some kind of an idea, because they also don't understand it. Obviously, you don't understand it, but I just need something from to like give this over. Give to these people, because I'm struggling in my school studies, and I'm kind of sometimes I find it very difficult to work. My doctor turned around and said, no, I'm not going to give you this. It's like, this is all in your head. And
wow.
yeah, this whole illness is in your head. I can't help you, and I'm not going to help you. So
Wow.
nothing I can do for you. So I can. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. My jaw dropped just like that. My jaw dropped.
All righty then. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah. Thank you so much for helping me all this time, and now you can't do anything for me. Now, yeah.
Wow.
What you could
Wow.
have told, like I went back and I was so angry. I was
Mm-hmm.
so annoyed. And I lost the will to know all that, like that thing that you was clinging on, that that you feel like, oh, maybe there's something that maybe
Yes.
some way they could find this and this can help me, and they could find that and that could help me.
Just a tiny bit of hope.
Tiny, yeah, a very
Mm-hmm.
tiny bit of hope.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like somebody comes with a pin and busts your bubble
That's right.
and it's gone. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was how I felt at that point.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
went back home and I cried.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Wow.
I was like, there's no way. That's it. It's done. This is how I'm gonna be for the rest of my life.
And you didn't want to spend the rest of your life that way.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to spend the rest of my life that way. After some time of like thinking and trying to figure out how to go about this, what to do. Before I went to the doctor and asked him to like give me a note to give my employer, I had in my mind something that said that, you know what, you need to get back to sport. Because I couldn't during that time. I couldn't do any kind of activity because if my blood pressure rised up and so on, it means that my body temperature goes up, and again,
Right.
I have
Right.
issues. But I had an idea in my mind. Is like, what if you do some kind of sport, force your body to sweat, means that your sweat glands can open up, and that will let the sweat come out and the heat comes out of your body, and you can feel okay. But I was scared.
Of
I was
course.
terrified that that's going to happen. I could go to a point where it could lead to me being in emergency hospital.
Sure.
So I sat back at home again, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yes.
And eventually I was like, I have to take matters in my own hands. I need to go to the point where it's either I'm happy or I'm going to live miserable for the
Yes.
rest of my life. So I started, I felt like, let me just do a little bit of running, because that's the simplest form of activity I could be able to do
Absolutely.
by myself without having to go anywhere or do anything. So what I did was lived in a 4-story house, a 3-story house, and I would put like bottles of water at the bottom of the stairs,
Yes.
and another bottle of water, really cold water, at the top of the house.
Yes.
And I would run up the stairs, up and
Wow.
down. I get hot, I pour water on my head, and I cool me down and go again. Yeah.
Did you make a mess inside of the house with all this water? Your mom's like, what, Deo, what are you doing? You're messing up the carpets here.
I did kind of make a mess of it, but at that point I didn't care. And mom was at a point of like, I need something to help. My family were the main driving force, because they've seen me go through that pain, and they were very helpless. And when you have, as a parent, you see your child going through pain, but you can't help them in any way. So just doing a bit of mopping up and all that kind of stuff was nothing compared to them.
and that was a part of the extra part of the activity. Go to the top of the stairs, pour water on your head, grab the mop it up a little bit, so next time you come up the stairs, you don't slip and fall. Okay, run back down the stairs. So mop downstairs, same thing.
Same thing, you just carry on. Yeah, it was great. A great form of mental training as well.
Absolutely.
I didn't know at the time, but that was amazing form of mental training.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
So what
then
started to happen as you're doing this?
yeah,
What started to happen? What started to change?
I started to feel better, not immediately in form of my body,
Mm,
but the mental aspect.
mm,
So my mind started to feel like, oh, you know what, maybe I can go tomorrow or the next day after that. I'm gonna add on, I'm gonna go for a bit longer. I'm
mm-hmm,
like, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself again today. I'm gonna go for a little
mm-hmm,
bit longer,
mm-hmm,
go for an hour. Let's see
mm-hmm,
how it happens.
mm-hmm,
If I get too hot, I will run like a cold bath, and then
mm-hmm,
all I have to do is just jump into the bath and then
mm-hmm,
cool down quite quickly.
mm-hmm,
Um, so I kept making it longer and longer,
mm-hmm,
and then my body started to sweat, and it's like,
mm,
okay, the idea I had in my mind is actually is happening.
yes,
Like, all right, okay, this is
yes,
nice. This is nice.
yes,
Starting to sweat, my body's starting to breathe.
yes.
And then I ventured outside, out of my house. I could just run outside of the house. Yeah, and that
Wow.
was beautiful. I was like, great, I can do this now. Obviously, with the watchful eye of my like a
Absolutely.
sister or someone um, that would
Do
just tell them
you
just in case.
do you remember the first time you went outside of the house to go for a run? Do you remember that day?
I remember the day. I don't remember exact date,
Of course.
but
The feeling, you know?
the feeling, the vision in my head is there. It's like yesterday.
Mm,
It's the best feeling I had for a long, long time.
mm,
Just to be
yes.
outside, and it's not. It was a bit cold,
Mm,
but it wasn't very cold.
mm,
So I could just be out, go out there in the t-shirt,
yes.
and I can just go out and enjoy myself. I'm like,
Yes.
yes, I can do something again. I've been active again, like the way I
Yes.
used to. It's an amazing feeling, to be honest, for
Absolutely.
anybody. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and then I just kept going for a bit longer, and then eventually, my body started to breathe a lot more, and I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh wow, I haven't had sweat for a long time.
Wow.
Sweating properly,
Wow.
and I was that. That's it. I'm going for the park run. I started running in the park.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So you
yeah,
essentially solved your own medical
yeah,
condition
yeah, yeah.
and you did it with no medications. You
No
just did it
medication.
with activity and really overcoming any mental challenges or mental blocks that you may have been
Yeah,
having.
yeah.
Wow.
A feeling of fear. Once you go
Wow.
beyond the fear aspect, the border, your
Mm-hmm.
mind, you
Mm-hmm.
can do amazing things, and that is one thing. That's when mind of positivity started.
Yes.
The positive thinking,
Yes.
and it's like, oh, this is incredible.
Yes.
I thought of it in my mind. I did it and achieved it.
Yes.
So it happened. I conceived it in my mind, and doctors couldn't give me the ideas. Nobody could
Yes.
give me the ideas. I spent years trying to understand it, but all
Yes.
I needed to do is get active again.
Mhm. That's awesome.
Yeah,
What that's just an amazing transformation, really an amazing transformation. So now you have started running,
hmm
and how long has it been since that first run outside? How long has it been?
it's been a lot of years actually now. This was in 2011
Wow.
at that time. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. And I don't normally think back to that, how long it's been. I'm like, but
Sure.
it's
Sure. But I
just
mean,
enjoy what's happening. Like, but that was like one of my greatest achievements.
that's awesome. So
Yeah.
now just I always like to think about, the fact that one run can literally change someone's life. It did for me, changed my life, changed my
Mm,
whole trajectory and that whole idea of, you know, the way that we think about yourselves. If it were not for running, I would not be doing this thing that I'm doing now. And it really does. I feel like running and that connection between how we're able to think more empowered, I guess that's the only way that I can think of it.
Yes.
You know, we empower ourselves through the movement of our body. And I love that. I love that. So now fast forward, we're in 2021. Well, actually we're in 2020, and you've decided that you would like to do this running for protest, 381 days. What was it that sparked this interest for you in getting started on the protest run?
And I have to take a deep breath and sigh, because what was going on in 2020, I mean, it's been happening for years.
Indeed.
But this moment, when firstly, Ahmaud Aurbery, when he was murdered, like brutally killed, that moment, when it took a long time for me to actually look at how it happened. But all I can see is, how it happened. I can see myself in his shoes. And for most of us, people of color, Black people, brown people, we saw exactly, we were in those shoes.
Absolutely.
I ran, for me, I go to so many different countries. And I find myself a lot of the time running in communities that I'm the only person, the only Black person in those communities. And it's like, oh, that is literally me right there. That could happen to me at any moment. And I was very, very, very angry and very pissed off.
Absolutely.
Bryonna Taylor, she died, in her own house.
She was sleeping.
She was sleeping in her own house. I could see my sister. Bryonna has the same birthday as me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was so strong. I'm like, I'm a twin, me and my sister. So I even saw that so much more, because we have the same birthday as me and Bryonna, and I'm a twin. So it was so much more evidence, like that is literally could be my sister. And then George Floyd. And literally saying that, there's so many people that, other people that were brutally murdered between, from when it happened. We only have these main people that were captured.
That's right.
That were brought into the limelight.
That's right.
But there's so many other people out there who didn't get this to come out and just, bring them to the light. And I became really angry. It's like, there's got to be a way to be able to, show that we are not what we are perceived. And I could see on the news, people were pissed off. Protests were going on. We are in the middle of a pandemic.
That's right.
With so many things going on. There's so much fear. But people were extremely strong, and they said, even though we're going through a pandemic, we still have to stand together. We still have to stand united. I was living at the time. I was living in a very, very remote place. Not very, very remote, but it was kind of out of the bit far away from the city center in Northern Ireland. So I wasn't able to go out and join the protests. I wasn't able, but I was also thinking that to myself, is that we are in a pandemic, so I don't want to bring any kind of, issues for myself and the people
Right.
I'm living with.
Right.
So I had to try to think of things differently.
Right.
Started doing some research, how I could go about bringing change, and thinking of how I can just do something that's more positive, but also using my superpower, as I call it,
That's right. Yes.
running,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
use my superpower
Yes.
to bring this to light.
Yes.
And then I stumbled on a video that Eric Thomas put up on
Mm.
Instagram. I follow Eric Thomas. I'm such a big fan of him.
Yes.
And he was talking about 381 days. And I was like, whoa, I know about this story, but didn't know about 381 days.
Mm.
So I went back into history, started learning, started figuring out what it is, but I had to do it so quickly I was like, immediately, because he said in his the video was in his speech, he said you have to commit, just commit and find out, and you figure
Yes.
it out later.
Yes.
Yeah. And straight away I said, this is incredible. I'm committing straight away. I'm
Yes.
committing to do a 381-day protest
Wow.
run,
Wow.
but I don't know what distance I'm going to be running.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. How did you decide on the 10K distance?
Um, it was kind of, it became, I started to think around 10. I always
Mm.
have this power of 10 in my
Mm.
mind. Um, the power of 10 kind of gives like strong feeling. I
Mm.
always work in tens.
Okay.
So yeah, so in terms of transformation, all that kind of stuff, 10, 10, 10.
So like 10
Is
years,
exactly
10 days,
10
10
days, 10 days.
kilometers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
we all have our numbers. I don't know what my number is yet, but
Yep.
10 is
But the
just as
power of
good as
10, but
any.
you've got the last 10th. So
Oh
it's,
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Dio. Do do
That's
do
it.
do 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 do.
You also
Wow.
working in tens. Didn't
I
know.
love it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful number. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's the last number before you go on. It's basically the last number out
Yes.
there.
Yes.
So it holds a lot of power.
Yes.
And then I'd say, you know what, 5 is not challenging enough, so it has to
Mm.
be 10, because this is the number I always work with. It's challenging. It pushes people. And if I want to do anything further, it will be about tens. So I said 10 kilometers a day for 381 days. That's what it's going to be. I'm
Wow.
committed. And
Wow.
that's what I'm doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So through this journey of 381 days, do you feel that you have made an impact on people on people in the world, really?
In the
Yeah.
world. When I first went out to do this, my goal was to um, impact at least 10 people again.
Mm.
So I said, all I'm going to do is try to impact 10 people,
Mm.
and I'm happy.
Mm.
If I can influence and, get those 10 people to say, you know what, thank you for doing this.
Mm.
Thank you for what you've done. You've
Mm.
shown me a different way of going about doing a protest. Um, while we was in a pandemic, so what I was doing this, I was saying, being mindful of social distancing.
Mm.
So you can protest without having to be in a crowd. You
Absolutely.
can do this without having to, so think a lot more creatively, think a lot
Yes.
more differently. So if I was to have those people to say, you know what, you're giving me the opportunity, give me a different way of thinking, I say I'll be happy with that.
Yes.
And I happy to say that I've got more than 10 people.
I love it.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always think about, I don't know who said it. I don't know, but someone once said that, you know, my question originally is, do you think that you've impacted the world? But in reality, as one individual, most of us don't have the opportunity to impact a world stage. But we do, as you said, have the opportunity to impact at least one person, 2 people, 3 people, 10 people. We can totally do that. So
that's all you need. And those people, those 10 people, 1 to 10 people can go on and impact other people.
Exactly. So in a sense,
you're impacting your world.
In a sense, you are impacting the world on the down low. I love that.
Exactly.
I
On the
love
down
that.
low, because it's always gonna come back to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's shift gears just a little bit. I want to talk to you about two things. I want to talk to you about the Ramsey round. It's the Ramsey round. Is that right?
Ramsey round.
Yes.
Yes. The Ramsey round. Yeah.
So you, Serena Pace Humphreys, and a whole collection of other people did this amazing run. Tell me about this.
Firstly, I have to thank that crew. I have to thank those the guys. I mean, it was 6 of us: Sabrina, Zuki, Leroy, Simba, and Natalie, and me. Who are basically going out there and taking on this challenge as Black and brown people. The first group ever to go out in this kind of environment to take on a challenge that's beyond us. We are taking on a round that's basically, it's one of the biggest rounds in the UK. And talking about rounds in terms of it has the highest peaks. Or the highest summits in the UK. And we going out there and we're tackling this. But also we had a crew of other people that were joining us. We had the running channel, we had Girls on Hills, who are guides in the Scotland Highlands. Who are amazing, and the support that we're having all over everybody, all over the world actually. It was incredible, and that got us through it.
So how far, I don't know if that's the appropriate terminology, or is it better to talk about how tall? Is it how far or how tall, right? Or is it both? I don't know. Did everyone go, and how many days did it take, and what was the inspiration for this endeavor? All of that.
Firstly, the inspiration is the round that we did. In the UK, we have 3 rounds, which are the 3 main rounds, which are the highest peaks in the UK. And what we were doing is a Charlie Ramsey round. Charlie Ramsey is the person who started this round. This was 1978, if I remember correctly. So he set off to run the highest peaks in the UK in less than 24 hours. That was a challenge. It's 58 miles of running, and it's 27,500 feet.
Wow.
Descent, of climbing. So there's a lot that's involved. There's a lot, exactly, mind-blowing. And to do that in 24 hours as a person is crazy. It's insane.
Wow.
He was the first person during that time. And the one thing we didn't know, this is quite a popular round. And it's one of the hardest rounds you can go on. But the one thing which is so important and so prominent is that Charlie Ramsey was a Black Scottish man. And this is information that's been kept a secret for some reason.
Or omitted, just purposefully, purposefully
Yeah.
omitted. Like, people just, oh yeah, yeah.
It's yeah.
Who's Charlie Ramsey? Yes, he was
It's,
Black.
it's exactly, yeah. Don't say that too loud. So we found this out. It's like, wow, you know what? This just gives us some kind of hope.
Yeah.
He's the first person to ever, scale that round. He marked it out, and he's a
Wow.
Black person.
Wow.
It's inspiring. It's very, very inspiring, and it
Yes.
gives you hope and say, no, I can do that.
Yes.
But since you've done it, we can't think of any other Black person that's gone out there and did it.
Wow. Well, now you have.
Now I
And
have,
so, and five other people have.
yeah, and five other people have. We're the first group of Black people to ever do it.
And I mean, I'm just saying, I don't
Yeah.
know if there's any plans of this in the future, but like,
Huh?
my hope would be that you could encourage, get together another group of 6 Black people from all
Yeah.
over the world and say, okay, y'all, we're going to
Yeah.
teach you how to do this thing. And you too will do this Ramsey round.
Yeah.
And I hope that
Absolutely.
I'm the next person on that team because I'm ready.
Yeah. Please come. We get you on there, and you can go
That
there and
seems
enjoy yourselves.
utterly terrifying
Yeah.
to me. Utterly and completely terrifying to me.
Yeah.
27,000 feet. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I would be
It's
down to do
amazing.
it.
Yeah. It's the best experience we've had.
Yeah.
To be honest, we didn't get to do all the peaks, all the Monroes.
Mm.
There were 24 of them.
Mm.
We managed to do 15.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. We got the ascent that we wanted to get.
Yes. Yes.
And so that was a positive. We faced a lot of challenges.
Yes.
While we were there, the weather didn't play. It
Yes.
wasn't nice to us.
Yes.
So while we were there, basically, everything came in. The weather was poor. We
Yes.
had very small, pockets of good weather.
Yes.
And then it gets bad again.
Yes.
But we were there, we did it, we accomplished it. And now, another group of people can go out and just do that because we showed them that it's possible.
Wow, you did. And I mean, really, you can lead the way. Really, I feel like that's kind of how it's done. Now you can take a whole nother group of people and say, you too can accomplish this, and we will show you. We will show you how. Yeah.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing about the beautiful thing about it is that when you go out there and scale those mountains, is that then you get the opportunity to be able to go out there and lead, or support another group of people or someone else who can do it. So someone else who wants to go out there and follow in Charlie Ramsey's shoes and try to do, all 24 Mormons.
Yes.
In 24 hours or less.
Yes.
They can go out and do it, and we can go out there and support them because you get the opportunity to say you qualified and can do that.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I love it. And as I understand it, there's going to be a little documentary type film or something that's going to come out. And Charlie and he was there. Ramsey was there supporting you. So.
There's unfortunately Charlie didn't get to be there because he had to go somewhere else. But we did, it was documented.
Wow.
It's recorded. There's a documentary that's going to come out.
That's amazing.
It's going to show it. It was recorded by the Running Channel, who have a YouTube channel on. It's such a good experience, and
so amazing.
Really documented it so well.
So amazing. When you say that running is a superpower, I mean, to me, you and all of you who did that, you are my superheroes. That's just amazing to me. Amazing. Yeah. And it really, like when you say that it's inspiring, it's super inspiring to me, super inspiring, because just to think of all the hours of training and everything that you had to put in to get this, to accomplish this goal. So very amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. Really wonderful. Really wonderful. Yeah. So talk to me.
I was just gonna put one thing out.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Because it's so inspiring. The one thing that we went out there to do and show people is that you don't have to be super fit to go out and do it. Sorry, excuse me. You don't have to be going out there trying to break records. You don't have to be the fittest person. You just have to be an ordinary person. You can go there and just, as long as you have somebody there to guide you and show you how it's like, you can go there and do it.
Okay.
You don't have to be, I've run 100 miles before. Yeah, exactly. Let's go out there and scale this. Let's go out there and just
I'm ready, because I'm definitely, I mean, I'm not unfit, but I'm definitely not the fittest person.
Yeah, you don't have to be at all. It's just getting out there in the outdoors and push.
Definitely need to have people who've been there and done that before, because I have no idea how to climb a mountain. Not one single idea, and I am afraid of heights. So
okay, yeah. We'll get you through that.
I need help, and a lot of it.
Yeah, we'll get you through that. Yeah.
You're gonna have to put me on belay. Okay, I need I need carabiners, and I need ropes, and I need to know that you are not gonna have me falling down this mountain, because this is not be good. Okay.
No, at all. The beautiful thing is that even if you fall, you're not gonna fall far. You're just gonna be,
I'm just gonna roll that like a little tumbleweed down the mountain. There she goes. There goes Pilar. She's down the mountain. Oh no.
Could be the fastest way to get down the mountain as well. Yeah. Teach everybody a new way.
Somebody go get her.
Teach everybody a new way to get down the mountain. There's always new ways to go to do things.
That's it. I could get the team award for the most creative ways for going back down the mountain.
Yeah, just tumble down.
And probably also the most creative ways for getting up the mountain as well, because if you ever see, seriously, Deo, when I tell you that I am afraid of heights, I just, it's not so much that I'm afraid of heights. What I'm afraid of is I'm afraid of falling. It's more that is my my issue, right? So if I feel like I'm on uneven ground, I'm like if you've ever seen a cat, walking across, walking across a little, I'm just okay, okay, all right, I'm gonna make it. Okay.
Trying to tiptoe through it. Yeah,
basically, it's really a sight to see. It really is.
Yeah, I would love to see it though. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's creative.
You will laugh very heartily. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody says you can't have a laugh on a mountain.
That's exactly right. So that's exactly right. Yeah. If you're not laughing, you're not having fun. That's my perspective.
You're not doing it properly.
That's exactly right. Agreed. So my other question for you was just about the Black trail runners and just your involvement in Black trail runners, and how that has impacted you and really, been a boon, I guess, for you.
Yeah. It's been, I'm so actually grateful that Black trail runners was set up. I'm so happy that has happened. And for all the co-founders that set it up, so grateful for them to think of this and just bring it out there and Absolutely. Put it for everybody, because it was needed.
Absolutely.
It was so needed. But obviously they say in the future, maybe, this is, the aim is not to have a group like Black Trail Runners, but to have everybody running together.
Absolutely.
But we need it now.
Absolutely.
It needs to happen. My involvement, I mean, one of my friends invited me and said, look, there's a group called Black Trail Runners. I think you would love it. And like, as soon as I saw the name, to be honest, I was like, yes, don't even bother trying to sell it to me.
That's
Yeah.
You don't even, I don't need the pamphlet. I'm good.
Don't need any of that. Yeah. Just like the name was already told what it is. And
yes.
I'm down for that.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Simba is the one that told me about it, and is one of my co-runners with the on the Ramsey round. We had such a lot of fun. So he invited me to the group.
Yes.
And I was so being welcomed.
Yes.
We are Black Trail Runners, but anyone can join. It's
absolutely.
Not just because of the name.
Absolutely.
Everybody's welcome to join. Everybody's part of it. You feel like a family. Because as soon as you join, you get welcome to the group.
Absolutely.
Everybody's out there and says, hey, welcome to the group. We welcome aboard. We'd love to have you share all your experience with us. And we'd love to be out there and do some, runs together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been out there. We've gone out together to do runs. We did a test. We put on test runs every now and then when it's possible.
Yeah.
We did a test run. Actually, they just done a test run very recently, where I wasn't able to go, but it was very successful.
Absolutely.
But we straight after the back of lockdown, we went out and did the test run close to Wales.
Yes.
And there's a big group that came out, and we haven't, when you haven't communicated, you've been communicating online.
Yes.
You've had this relationship with so many people.
Yes.
And you feel like you know them.
Yes.
But you haven't seen them physically.
Yes.
You got to see each other physically, and you're like,
yes.
I feel like I've known you for so long.
That's right. That's right. It's like bringing together, it's like getting back together with old friends, when you see people online for so long, and then you're like, oh my goodness.
Exactly. But the thing is that it's old friends that you have similar interests with.
Yes.
Like really, really deep similar interests with.
Yes.
You go out on a trail run and you have a great chat with them. You can talk about so many other things, so everything that you want to talk about.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful to have a community like that.
Absolutely.
It's so beautiful to have that kind of community. And
Absolutely.
It was needed. It was really needed.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we can get the goal. Want to do, the inclusion, participation, and representation. She comes out and get more people involved, and we can be able to go out on the trails and get involved a lot more, and not feel like we don't belong in the trails.
Absolutely.
Not feel like we can't be there. So it's needed.
Absolutely. I agree. I could not agree with you more. Was totally needed. I love the fact that the group was established. So super awesome. Super awesome. Fantastic. And I'm glad that you're a part of it as well. So you're bringing your own flair in there.
I am bringing my little own flair to that. Yeah. I feel like I'm frozen, but.
Oh yeah, your screen is frozen, but that's okay. Yeah. I can still hear you. So.
Oh, good.
So Deo, listen, this conversation has been it's been amazing. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that I have not asked?
I think that we can talk about maybe quite quickly about food.
Oh, food. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like, food. Food is very important when it comes to trail running.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Tell me more about that.
So I mean, you as a trail, I'm a lover of food, and I love food. And the reason why I do trail running is to go out there, run and eat, run, eat, and keep running again.
That's keeping it real right there.
Yeah. So many people are scared of talk about, when it comes to like food,
Yes.
but it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah,
So,
indeed.
yeah, it's you go out there, you do your run and enjoy the food.
What is your favorite food? What do you like to eat?
Um, I like to eat like I'm vegan,
Oh,
so I'm
okay.
very
Yes.
plant-based.
Yes.
Um,
I'm
so
vegetarian and
yeah,
vegan. Mostly I'm both. I'm a combination of both. I've been
yeah.
vegetarian for 30 something years.
Oh
And
wow, yeah.
lately I try to eat more vegan when I can, because cheese
Mm.
is not so good for my belly. But anyway, what's your favorite food?
Yeah, so my go-to food is usually very African oriented food,
All
basically.
right.
So I love my sweet potatoes, I love the rice,
Yes.
all the mushrooms and lentils and
Yum.
mix it all together, bring it all together and just have a feast, like a
Yum.
proper feast. Yeah. Um, I experiment a lot with different types of food,
Oh, okay.
especially being vegan. So you have to, you know, broaden your horizon a lot
That's
more.
right. That's right.
Um,
Otherwise, it's just beans and greens.
and beans and greens, yeah. So, and if you're vegans, go out and branch out and see how everything goes. Enjoy the food, experiment. When I go running, I eat a lot of cake.
Really?
Yeah, it's the one thing I always like crave when
Okay.
when I run big miles. So yeah, love the cakes.
How do you manage that though? Like, me personally, what happens to me when I run is like my whole digestive system just like shuts down. So
Mm.
like I try. So I did my first ultra, just 35 miles, not very far.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's pretty good, but it's probably,
Mhm.
you do like 100 miles and you scale peaks of 27,000 feet. So I mean, I'm like, it was my 35-mile run. But anyway, like I want to eat. I want to, like, my brain is like, I would like to eat food, but like I try to put it in my mouth and it's just like, no. How do you handle
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I've had that experience as well, actually, to be honest. It's quite challenging to get around it. But it's very much about training,
Mm.
um, training your gut.
Ah.
So same way we do training the muscles,
Mm.
training, the mind, you also
Mm.
have to train the gut.
Mm.
So as you go out for runs,
Mm.
nibble on something, eat
Mm.
something. Um, Sometimes you have to do it while you're running,
Mm.
but sometimes you just have to sit down,
Mm.
enjoy the view,
Mm.
and eat something. It's a very
Okay.
good experience as well to do that. But it's just training the gut to be able to understand that you're doing physical activity, but you're
Mm.
also eating, and you have to eat. Um,
That makes sense.
yeah, and when you have to eat like something that's very sweet, like a cake, or
Mm.
like dates, or
Mm.
all those kind of things that are very sweet. Sometimes like the body doesn't want it,
Yes,
but it's what's going to give you the energy
that you need. Your
that you
body
need.
doesn't want it, but your body needs it.
But your body needs it, yeah.
Yes.
So some
You have to train your body.
Mhm. Have to train the body, um, have to train your gut to go through that and
Yes.
experience how it feels like to go for long
Mm.
with having, when you're not eating properly, when you're in a situation that you're forced to eat,
Mm.
but you're being very active,
Mm.
and that's the
So
only way.
do do you suggest some something in particular to kind of train your body to do that? So like I just drink uh a few, like a liquid fuel some kind of a liquid fuel, but there just comes a certain point in a run where like even the liquid fuel that I'm drinking, I'm just like, I cannot drink
Take it anymore.
that anymore. If I taste lemon flavor, whatever that is anymore.
Happens a lot.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So like, how do you overcome these hurdles
Oh yeah.
in your ultra running journey,
To be honest, it's very much about experimenting and just go out with different types of, foods, different types of liquid. I would normally go out with some kind of like water, electrolytes, and like a juice. Like any kind of different juice, because I have like different I have a variety basically I can play with. And sometimes if I can, I take a tea with me as well. Yeah, just so I can just drop like a tea bag and some hot water in there, because like it changes things up a little bit more, especially if you're running, out there in the cold.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to
Okay.
warm up the body.
Yes.
Yeah, and food. I love natural organic foods. I take with me like different types of stuff, like some oranges,
Yeah, I usually
apple,
do oranges.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like when they hit you, it's just like they go in a lot more
The
easier.
orange goes when an orange goes in, it's just like da, da, da.
Yeah, exactly.
Orange power. Okay, I'm good
Oof,
now. I can keep going.
I can keep going. Yeah. And it's and you can chew on something, but also you get the water and you get the
Yes.
energy as well.
Yes.
So it gives you a lot more things to like play around with.
Yes.
Just going out there with different types of variety and training with them and see how they perform. So then you understand a lot more of how your body will react when you're on a long, long run. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll have to work on it. I have to work on the chewing part. I can do oranges and I can do my liquid fuel, but like during the ultra, I had tried like a very brief moment to like train with some kind of a solid, food, but the runs weren't long enough to where my training runs weren't long enough to where there was a point at which I was going to need to you know what I'm saying? Like consume some kind of a solid food. So like, and I can do like pickles, I can do like that kind of stuff. But when I get to the next level, I'm going to need something different. And I know that. So this advice
Did you
is
get
very,
to sit down and eat something, a bit more solid? No.
there was no sitting down because Deo, I'm very slow. So everybody else, I mean, I don't know what other people did, but it was like, it was basically just like, it was like I said, it's 35 miles. So it's really just like within the course of a 1 day, a 1 day period. And like, I didn't stop to go to the bathroom. I didn't stop to eat. I didn't stop to do any of those things because I was literally the last person who was running. And I didn't want to stop because if I stopped, I was going to basically like miss the cutoff. So I didn't want to stop for that purpose. I wound up missing the official timing mat for finishing. But the only reason why that happened is because the race started late. And they had a cutoff. Right. If they didn't start late, I would have been fine because I knew how long it was going to take me.
Yeah,
I knew, but
so it's them.
It's really their fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they started like 15 minutes late. So I wound up, and I was like, I know I'm going to need every ounce of this 8 hours to finish this race. I knew it. I knew I was, but. So that's why I didn't stop. I didn't eat. I didn't do any of that. But even still, I couldn't. It's like I try to put the food in my mouth and my body's just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You know what? What could help with that? It's taking on things like smoothies and
Mm,
some soups or something like that. It's
yes.
something you just end up drinking instead of having
Yes.
to chew. And
Yes.
yeah, that would
Probably
be,
like vegetable broth or something like this.
yeah.
I'd probably have to put, I mean, well, vegetable broth has a lot of sodium in it
Mhm.
already, but you need like a little bit of that salt taste. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you're
Yeah.
putting like extra sodium in there, but because it's not very tasty. Vegetable broth is
Yeah.
not so
You do, but
tasty.
you do need it. Yeah, you do need it. Yeah.
Anyway,
And then you'll be able to go and finish it and powerfully go through there and go
that's
again. Sign up for another one.
that's right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Indeed. Oh my goodness. Deo, thank you so very much for joining me on the show today. It has been just a pleasure and an honor to chat with you. I feel like even though this is the first time I've ever met you, I feel like we've been friends forever
A long
and
time.
we
Yeah.
could chat for hours. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, hopefully you'll be able to. Well, we're going to stay in touch for a lot longer. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I hope so. I hope so.